As a young girl, Delilah was a baker's apprentice in Dunwall Tower. Years later, a painter in Sokolov Circle. Barrister Arnold Timsh paid her to paint portraits. Him, I knew. A nobleman, born rich. And now he was making a second fortune, seizing the assets of plague victims for the Lord Regent. But Barrister Timsh was also fighting a private war with his own niece. Something to do with the family fortune. Lurk was probably right. We needed to speak with the niece first. Her feud with the old barrister was something we could use. I got a message to the barrister's niece, and she claimed to know things about Delilah that no one else did. But the knowledge would have a price. I wasn't surprised. I went to meet her.
I was gentle. He'll snore for an hour. Talia should be waiting in Trevor's Close. It's an alley just past the Wall of Light. You'll know it by 3 whitewashed skulls.
One step closer to finding the truth about Delilah. But still, more secrets would need to be dug up. But at least they had a lead. Talia Timsh, the niece of Barrister Arnold Timsh, was willing to do a deal with the devil in order to take everything from her uncle. But amongst all the petty squabbling, Daud would get the information he needed. She was clearly not afraid to take risks, choosing to meet with Daud in the middle of the Hatter territory, one of Dunwall's notorious gangs. She was lucky they hadn't already gutted her.
Walk away. Go home. You're making a mistake.
Oh yeah? How so?
I'm here to meet a man named Daud.
The great assassin? Oh, I'm really quaking my boots now.
And I'm paying him a lot of money. Money you will never see because you'll soon be gasping for breath on the end of Daud's blade.
Shut up. That ain't true.
Isn't it?
He'd heard enough, and decided to show himself to his new client.
Ha! I told you he was coming.
Get him, boys.
2 more. Not a problem for Daud.
Look at you. The master assassin. So you want to know about Delilah. Well, my uncle is bewitched by her, so he won't tell you anything. I require only 2 things. Get rid of my uncle, and bring me his last will and testament. In exchange, I'll tell you what you want to know about Delilah Copperspoon. And I'll pay you cold hard coin for your trouble. Come back to me when it's done. Let's meet at the docks when you return.
A simple contract. There was no time to lose. But once again, Daud found himself wondering if he could avoid using his blade to end Timsh's life. It wasn't that he cared a damn for the barrister, but any blood spilled, and he could find himself and his gang at the forefront of raids from the City Watch and the Overseers. The best assassinations were the ones no one knew you were ever there. Sneaking through Hatter territory, and passing a City Watch patrol, Daud made his way to the legal district where Arnold Timsh resided.
Scout up ahead. Try to find out where Timsh is.
There's an equipment stash on the rooftops nearby. We've been anticipating doing a hit on Timsh for some time.
I know. Half the city wants him dead. We'll earn some gold on this one. I'll meet you up ahead.
I caught him snooping around nearby. He won't say who he is or what he's doing, but I locked him up just to be safe. He seems familiar to me. Reminds me of someone who used to do business with Timsh, but I'm not sure.
Good work, Simmons. Now that that's handled...
So the City Watch had a prisoner, one of the old residents in the district named Wiles Roland. Perhaps he knew something about Timsh that Daud could use.
It's Daud, isn't it? You wouldn't be in this district unless you were after Timsh's head.
What do you want?
Revenge. To do to Timsh what he did to me. I want him homeless, a victim of one of his own eviction documents. I've prepared one, complete with the forged signature of the Lord Regent. Please, go to my old apartment. It's right next to Timsh's estate. Here's the address, but I doubt you can get inside from the streets. There you'll find my journal, which contains the entire plot and everything you'll need. But you're a businessman like I once was. I don't expect you to do this for free. If you do go to my apartment, you'll find something stashed there. Consider it your payment in advance.
His work had mostly been done for him. Hopefully this plot would end with Daud unseen and his blade still clean. But it was time to find out what Billy had learned.
His lordship the barrister is up in his bedroom. Top floor. Don't make me describe what's happening.
At the stash he found equipment, a map of the district, along with a floor plan of Timsh's house. Next he entered Roland's old apartment and found a hidden room. Daud's payment. On a bed he found a more detailed plan of how to bring down Timsh. The barrister always carried a document with him, signed by the Lord Regent himself, that granted him legal immunity. Roland wanted to replace this letter. Next to his journal was the forged eviction document, complete with a signature from the Lord Regent. If inspected, it would see Timsh fall victim to the same treatment he'd given to hundreds of others. His wealth would be taken away, and he'd be thrown into the streets, at the mercy of the plague. But in order to rouse suspicion, Roland planned on planting a package in the air circulation unit to stink out the entire estate. It wouldn't take long for someone to suspect a Weeper had crawled inside. What's more, Daud had overheard some of the guards mention General Turnbull would be making a visit, one of the very few men in Dunwall who outranked Timsh. Crossing the balconies in the shadows of Timsh's estate, Daud found himself at apartment number 10. Within was a sight of horror. Plague victims had been wrapped up and left to rot in the decrepit rooms. The owner was nowhere to be seen. However, Roland had mentioned in his journal that they had left a package for him to use. Disturbingly, Daud found notes next to each body describing who they were, what they did, and how they succumbed to the plague. In another room, Daud found the package, along with another note. It didn't mention how this one died, or how they ended up in this state, but Daud took the remains nonetheless. It wasn't just the stench that invaded his mind. There was another presence that he knew well, and it was very close by.
I've always wondered, what does he smell like? Rotting flesh? Wild flowers? Does he ask you questions? I wonder when he'll speak to me.
Here's one last lesson, for old time's sake. The barrister was a champion at finding his enemy's weak points, but he didn't see Delilah as a threat until it was too late. No one's watching Delilah now except you, and me, of course. I see everything. I see forever. And right now, I see a man walking a tightrope over a sea of blood and filth. The Empress is dead, and the water's rising. You've got Rothwild packed into a crate, bound for the frozen north, Daud. Surprisingly clean work for a man with so much blood on his hands. Did the Empress change you? Or do you think this will help you dodge what's coming? You'd better hurry. You're running out of rope.
You were in a daze. I hope it was enlightening.
The outsider's words did nothing to help him. They were almost threatening. He spoke as if Daud's fate was sealed and was fast approaching, but there was nothing to do but face it. Delilah was his only concern now. Was she to be Daud's doom? Only time would tell. He crept into the top floor of Timsh's estate and found the man himself, talking to one of his maids. The conversation was nothing but disturbing, but he got a glimpse of Timsh's document. He would have to be quick when replacing it. Timsh disappeared into a studio and began lamenting out loud. But he was alone in there, or so Daud thought. Now was his chance. Daud placed the forged eviction document whilst Timsh wasn't looking. Then he crept into the studio to see what Timsh had been talking to. A statue of Delilah.
Who are you?
I understand your curiosity. I'm strange. I was a baker's apprentice in Dunwall Tower. A friend to Jessie and the little girls. Then afterward, I made my name as a painter. Now, I'm obviously something much greater. That satisfies you. Because you won't get more. I ought to just kill you. But I'm going to give you a warning for the sake of my sisters, who were very impressed with you once upon a time. Stay away from me. There are great changes coming, and I'll expect you not to interfere. I have influence in places you won't expect. But as for Arnold Timsh, do what you want. I won't hold a grudge. I'm done with him.
Is that who you were looking for? Well, she's a bit of a bitch. And the artwork's hopeless. I know you have your reasons.
Clearly, Delilah had powers not even Daud knew were possible. So she had also been touched by the void. This still didn't explain the outsider's fascination with her, nor why he asked Daud to find her. Had she somehow blocked the influence of the black-eyed man, or found her own way to get her powers? Still, Daud felt compelled to find her. But for now, the job needed to be completed, so Daud made his way back to the ground floor, skirting around the edge of the district to reach the basement entrance at the back of Timsh's estate. Once inside, he placed Roden's package in the air circulation unit, before creeping outside to see the results of his labor.
What is that horrible stench? I can barely breathe. Oh, General Turnbull. Yes, I was expecting you. Please come.
Timsh, it smells like a weeper den. I thought we were secure.
Can I buy your
And
ration
we
of
are.
elixir from
The
today, or
neighborhood
with
is
someone
swept
else?
3 times a week.
Barrister Timsh!
Please, call me Arnold. We're friends. Here, this will clear things up for you. The Regents arranged it. By the way, I don't think I ever got your first name.
What is this? Is this a joke?
I am not sure what you find funny about it.
Barrister Timsh, this is a letter from the Lord Regent dated a month ago, stating that your building is to be seized by the state immediately due to massive infection outbreak, and that your personal assets are forfeit if you do not comply immediately. A month ago? Are you showing me this to try to convince me that you're above the law?
What? Let me see that. This isn't possible.
Barrister, I am afraid I am going to have to take you into custody. And if I or any of my men contract the plague because of this visit, I'll see that your head rolls.
No. This isn't the right document. This...
Get him out of here before he starts bleeding from the eyes. And secure this court. It's under quarantine.
Yes, sir.
With Timsh out of the way, all that was left was to find the will for Thalia. Even if the eviction document was found to be fake, and Timsh would be let free, Thalia would have already seized his wealth and left him with nothing. What's more, she promised even more information about Delilah.
That's strange. Timsh doesn't name himself the beneficiary in the will. He's giving the inheritance to Delilah.
I saw Talia. She's waiting where she said she'd be.
The barrister's enemies caught up to him. He's in custody as a plague victim. Here's the will as agreed.
That'll do nicely. Perhaps better. But you were promised information. Well, my uncle came under Delilah's spell. He was obsessed with her. Everyone knew she'd been a servant at the tower before she studied under Sokolov. She was a painter, an artist. Beneath my family's class, for certain. My uncle became infatuated. One night we all went to Waverly Boyle's for a seance. It was an amusement. We didn't know what we were doing. I thought only the dead appeared at seances. But suddenly Delilah was in the room with us. My uncle nearly died of terror. She was there, but not there. We saw her as if she was very far away, standing in the old Brigmore Manor, painting at an easel, painting a name. It was your name, Daud. That's all I know. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Timsh is ruined. A rotten Coleridge prison if they don't send him to the flooded district. It's poetic, I suppose. Maybe I was wrong about you, Daud. Are you ready to go?
Let's go home.
He was left only with more questions. Delilah was more dangerous than Daud initially thought. She had consumed Donald Timsh, like the Outsider had consumed many others. If she was going to challenge the Black-Eyed Man, it could only end badly for everyone. But he had a new lead. According to Thalia, Delilah was hiding at the old Brigmore estate, an old mansion that belonged to a family long forgotten. But the statue of Delilah also mentioned her sisters, perhaps a coven. Whatever was hiding in the Brigmore estate would be extremely dangerous, but that could wait. Daud needed to collect his thoughts, so went home with Billy. Little did he know, he had guests at the flooded district. If you enjoyed today's tale, please leave a like and share it with your friends. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.